Alright Nick, what's been happening with this? Because it's been a long time between drinks.
It has. So we've progressed a fair bit with what we've wanted to achieve with the Jag front suspension. We struggled a bit with where we were going to fit the shock absorbers, whether we're going to run them vertically or work out something different. So we did come up with something very different.
Yep.
We're using a coil over shock running in parallel with the chassis, and it's cantilevered, so off the lower control arm.
Okay.
Looks, flashes Michael Jackson, and should work.
Yeah.
Should work how we expect it to.
Yeah, well, fair enough then. I suppose until you get everything in, and the motor in, and everything, and the weights, and all the whole lot.
Yeah, we had the motor in there, and it sits pretty well, so right height, spot on.
Yep.
And I believe it's going to handle pretty well. So we've obviously still got to fit a sway bar to it and things, but that's well down the track.
Yeah, fair enough. I think last time we came and had a look at it, we were playing around with that, and we were also, you're having problems with the steering box being in the way of the engine.
Yeah, so I moved the engine back about 15 mil.
Yep.
And that clears the linkages now. So what it was, the starter motor was only about 2 or 3 mil off the Jag power steering rack. That we needed a bit more clearance there, so we moved the engine back. Only that 10 mil and everything sort of sits up pretty well now.
Yeah, perfect.
And that's without having to do a conversion to move the starter motor to the left hand side, which is another expense we didn't want to go through.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so what are you doing now?
So we cut the donor ute to pieces a couple of weeks back, and now we're just getting ready to get the floor pan separated from all the layers and layers and layers and layers of metal that GMH put into their cars.
Yep.
We'll straighten up the damaged part of that and then make a template for where we're going to fit it into here, and then it'll take place in rewind to accommodate the VF dash.
Yep.
And the
Awesome.
the seats and the door cards and so on.
Yeah, not a drama. And then once you've got all that side of things done, then what's the next step after that for you?
Then we'll take the body off.
Yep.
The chassis. I'll take the chassis and detail it, finish the welding up on the underside.
Yep.
Because all that's got to be welded in and gusseted. Then I'll detail the chassis so that it is in pristine condition.
Okay.
Meanwhile, this will go onto a rotisserie, get underneath and finish off the floor pan and firewall underneath. Yep. And tidy up anything else. We've got to flare the rear guards to accommodate the 14x10s. Yep. And then we'll put it back together.
So with the chassis, you're going to paint it, or you're going to powder coat it?
I'll probably paint it just in a good 2-pack, I think. Okay. There's one I used to use for my airbrushing stuff, and that'll be what I use. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've got it on a bike panel that's lasted well over 10 years, so and it's in pristine condition, so that'll be the same sort of thing with this. So I don't think I want to go down the expense of powder coating. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it does last well, but at the end of the day, it's an additional cost, isn't it? Yeah, it is, yeah. Yeah. All right. The idea is to get back on the road as soon as possible. So yeah, well, it's already been a year and a half, so we've not given up and won't give up. I want her rolling again pretty soon. Yeah, Neil said that you've got the engineer coming out and having a look at it sometime next week. Yeah, I mean, we've changed a lot, all right, so we've got to get it engineered so that it stays legal. We know it's going to pass everything. Everything's top notch, so you know, we manufactured parts where we had to, and like the suspension side of it, there's a lot of hours went into just designing it, you know, making sure that we all understood where it was coming from and what we wanted to achieve. Yep. We had to sort out the ratio for the cantilever side of things. We got that nailed. Well, you did say you definitely wanted to go full custom. I just didn't expect you were going to go this full custom. Well, you know, it was one of those things. You know, it was suggested that we do the Jag front suspension because it's got bigger brakes and it'll handle better. Top that up with it'll look a lot tidier when it's all detailed as well. Yeah. And then to do this setup on it, I don't think I've seen one before. Like it's definitely going to be something that's very unique once it's done and it's rolling and everything like that. Yeah, and like I said, we aren't giving up. I want it back on the road. I'd like it back on the road next week, but that ain't going to happen, is it?
No,
so,
yeah.
Perfection takes time and patience, so, and we'll get it there.
Well, like anything, some people have 10-year projects or more, you know.
Well, I don't want it to be 10 years. I'd like to enjoy it while I'm still allowed to drive.
Yeah.
So, so we'll see how it goes. But we'll get it back on the road again and get it out to the public as soon as we can.
Yeah, fair enough. And is there any kind of special things you're considering to do to the van besides what you've already mentioned? Like as far as, you got the VF stuff going in the interior.
Yeah.
But I suppose you're going to have to design an interior that's going to match everything as well.
Yeah, so I'll keep the back fairly simple this time. I think that's a better option than trying to build an apartment suite in the back of the van.
Fair enough.
Just keep it clean and tidy, simple lines down with the upholsterer and work out which way we're going to go with it. It has to look the part. I don't want it to say Sandman, because guess what? It's not a Sandman.
Fair enough.
All right. I don't want anything to do with Sandman on it.
Yep.
Not even the font.
Yep.
All right. So it's a Holden Panel van. It's a Kingswood. Always will be. It's just it's changed up a lot. Where we go from here, who knows?
All right. Well, it sounds good so far.
Once that's stripped out properly, the floor pan itself is straightened up, then we work out how we're actually going to get it in there.
Okay, well, we can show people that. That's easy
because there are some parts of the Holden body that we need to keep, especially the front mounts.
Yep.
So where we got those angle parts coming up, we're going to maintain that.
Okay.
So that part of the firewall will come out, maintaining the plenum chamber and the wiper mount.
Yep.
And the rest of it's going to be VF.
Yep, fair enough then.
And then I don't know if we're going to be able to push that in from the front, or if we got to go through the rear of the van to get it in.
To get it all in, yeah. And that's going to be a lot of
trial and error.
Yeah. Slowly cut, put back in.
Well, it'd be nice if we could get it all in one piece. We've done some measurements.
Yep.
We may be able to get it in at a diagonal and then it'll slide in.
Yep.
That's what we're hoping for in a perfect world. But we won't know until we actually get to that point.
Yeah, fair enough.
So we'll make a template of what we need on here and transfer that template to the front of the VF, and we'll make it blend in.
Right.
But the actual shape is very close.
Yep.
Up the top. So.
No, awesome. All right, well, let's have a quick look at this thing and we'll go from there.
Okay.
So, Nick, what is this? This is the
floor pan out of a VF ute. It used to be a police car, but it copped a big shunt in the passenger door.
Okay.
That we got the whole lot pretty cheap. So the idea is that we'll take off all the skins, we'll pull the floor straight. Yep. And then we're only going to cut off just behind this mount actually, and that'll be the length that we need to go into rewind. Yep. Now, is she actually going to stay as rewind, or you're contemplating a new design? Disclosed later on. Fair enough then. Keeping it. I'm still not sure. Like people are saying, change the colour and stuff, but I kind of like Panama green, so we won't know until I roll it out the shed. Yep, fair enough then. All right, so I'm not sure what if I'll listen to my wife or not. She doesn't like the green. We'll see. I've got a couple of plans in place, but whether I stick with those plans or revert back to the original, I'm not really sure. Yeah. Well, compared to what we saw with this when it was over there as the shell car before, done heaps, then moving it forward to get the rest of it done now. Because the floor is a bit deeper, probably as deep, but then we've got the cross member where this doesn't have a cross member. Yep. So we've got to modify the floor a bit to accommodate the chassis. Yep. And then be able to pick up the strengthening points as well. But we'll make panels to do that. Yeah, fair enough then. I would have thought the panel van might have been a bit wider as far as inside. No, it's not. It's actually, that's just a touch wider. Okay. But it gives us scope to be able to modify what we need to modify to make it fit into there. All right. And then the idea is so that we pick up the tunnel for the 256. Yep. And all the mounting stuff for the VF dash, and also the seat mounts for the VF seats. Yeah, so that way it's a lot easier to match everything up. It's going to bolt in. Yep. We hope it's just going to bolt in. Yeah, well that's it. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. No, easy as. And then you suppose you have to get all that stuff, you get all this interior retrim, new carpet, the whole works. Yeah, yeah. Probably still keep it like a dark colour. Yep. The dash is the interior at the moment, the black. I don't particularly want to go a light colour on the interior. So yeah, that's where we're at.
All right. Well, awesome, mate. Well, look, thanks for catching up with us today. We'll catch up with you when you've actually starting to get this into that.
Yeah, probably tomorrow. No, not really.
No, really.
By the time we get all that apart and then I cut that, it'll probably be about another month, I reckon.
Sounds good. Awesome. All right, we'll be back in a month.
Okay, cool. See you then.
See you then, bud.